This week's Parshas Re'eh, teaches us to have a true positivity bias, a true understanding of the beauty and the greatness of relationship with Hashem, how things are always moving towards the good. We have a verse in this week's Parsha, and you shall demolish their altars. You shall not do so to Hashem your God. So demolishing the altars is talking about us going into the land of Israel and destroying the idol worshippers' altars that were here, under all the different trees and different places, going around and literally destroying every single act of idolatry that was in the land. And then the verse is saying, don't do this to Hashem your God. Meaning we're going to have a home for Hashem in this world. We're going to have a Beis Hamikdash. You're going to build this and never ever destroy the Beis Hamikdash. That's what we're learning this mitzvah in this week's Parsha. And yet we know that Hashem keeps all the mitzvahs. God does not ask us to do any mitzvah that he himself does not keep. And yet we see that we had not just one, but two Beis Hamikdashes destroyed, two holy temples we built for Hashem destroyed. And so how could we have this? And so we learn that the only reason a person is allowed to do any type of demolishing in the Beis Hamikdash is for the sake of building the Beis Hamikdash. Meaning, if something needs to be repaired, you can destroy in order to repair. Same thing with a shul, right? You're not allowed to just knock it down unless you're building a better version. And so that's exactly what was happening with the first and second temple, was ultimately leading us to this Mashiach relationship with God, this everlasting relationship with Hashem. Each teardown was to bring us to a higher level of connection and revelation of holiness and intimacy with the divine, to bring us to our ultimate home with Hashem. As the Midrash says, the Aryeh, the lion, who is Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, rose in the muzzle of Ari, which is the constellation of Leo, this month of Av, in the month of Av, and destroyed Ariel, which is the Beis Hamikdash, in order that the lion, which is Hashem, comes during the muzzle of Ari and reconstructs Ariel. Meaning, Hashem didn't just allow Nebuchadnezzar, this Babylonian king, this crazy Persian dude, he did not just allow, who is he? He can't do anything with Hashem. He's not anything. He didn't just allow Nebuchadnezzar's army to come to the temple without his consent. The only reason Hashem allowed for that is because Hashem himself is going to come and rebuild our temple. And it also says here in the month of Ari. So this is the month of the Ari right now, the Ari Kadosh, the month of the Ari, the month of the Leo, of the lion. And so it's an auspicious moment, this end of this month of Av for Mashiach, absolutely fulfilling of this midrash. And what we learn from this is that really anything that feels like destroying in our life can really be seen as new vessels, because we are the Beis Hamikdash, we are the holy temple. Of course, we want and will have our everlasting temple that Hashem is building and bringing us to. And Hashem's also been building the Beis Hamikdash inside of us. That's what we've been doing with all of our holy, holy inner work that we're all doing. We've all been through so much. And we have turned our inner world into a home for Hashem. That is the inner work we're doing. We have a holies of holies within us, within our mind and our heart. And so any destruction is really ultimately to know, and it's not my job to tell anyone, it's for me to say to myself and to offer this of what we're learning in this week's Parsha, is to know that any inner destruction is for the sake of building new vessels, is for the sake of building new strength, new essence, like the olive oil comes out of the crushed olive, meaning we are being crushed to illuminate, and that this is a holy light, a holy illumination within our inner temple, which lights up the entire world. And so whenever something's being destroyed, what's really happening is we are being given new sets of vessels, which are brighter and stronger and more beautiful and have greater capacity, and will ultimately bring us more joy. And I think to extend this positivity bias in our relationship, that everything's always going towards strength and building, and there's never destruction just for the sake of destruction. It's always destruction for the sake of building, is really to bring this to the area of holiness of our marriages. To be able to see the win in every single fight, to be able to see the win in every moment of disconnection. In Kabbalah, it's talked about ratzo and shuv, run and return, that there's a heartbeat to every relationship. And there's moments where we feel the ratzo, right? We feel that running towards each other, and those moments of shuv, of that pulling back, that back and forth. And not to be so scared of the pulling back, not be so scared of the moments that feel, hard or lonely, but to know, okay, this is part of of connection and learning how to show up in new ways, learning how to show up respectful, learning to show up dignified, learning to show up happy and filled up. And one of my favorite parts about Geula Wives is getting to share my wins every week, my Geula moments. And so many of my Geula moments actually are things that felt like a lost moment, or a destruction in my marriage, God forbid, like a hard moment, something I shouldn't have said, or some way that I was controlling, or, a painful situation. But actually everything I learned out of that feels like a win. It feels like building. It feels like building this base of mikdash of my marriage and my home and my inner world. And so we're able to just know that anything negative in our holy relationships is really for the sake of building this true and everlasting relationship. And when we have that positivity bias, life feels exciting. We can dance with life. We can learn. We can be in these holy relationships and be able to know that we're only going from strength to strength, and everything is always for us to go deeper and closer to the essence, to the place beyond all levels, which is the holies of holies. So wishing everyone a Shabbat of connection, of expanded vessels, and knowing that we are truly going towards our third base of Mikdash, and Hashem keeps all the mitzvahs, and there's no way Hashem would destroy the temple unless it was really a reconstruction job to bring us the ultimate holy base of Mikdash, Hashlishi, which is everlasting. Get excited.